Hey, what's going on, Agents for Life? Welcome to podcast 225. I have to repent because last week I was on a cruise ship and I did not make it to, I should have recorded it in advance. I did not plan ahead. Hey, I'm owning it. I messed up. I missed a week. But, anyways, I'm back. Got some making up to do here, but we've got a really, really good podcast today. I really hope you like what I'm putting into this. I'm starting a new book, and it's a big book. It's a thick book, but it's really good. It's by Jack Canfield, and it's about success. It's called The Success Principles. And I really like what I've been reading about so far. So there's some things that I wanted to share with you that I really hope will help you just with some mindset and success stuff. So that's kind of the theme today. We're not doing much with sales training or scripts. We're going to take a break from that. We're going to talk about you, how to make you a better you, a better version of yourself, because that's what success ultimately is all about. But first, before we jump in, I am sharing my notes from National Training Conference. I would be remiss if I didn't mention it. That was an amazing conference, one of the best I've been to, and certainly took pages and pages of notes. I will put the link in the show notes if you want to download all of my notes, everything that I took. My favorite quote was when Barry Clarkson came up on stage in his first like 5 minutes and told us not to be a mental wee-wee. So I thought that was awesome. I love listening to Barry Clarkson, especially when he talks about being a mental wee-wee, but it's hilarious. He's just a great guy. And a lot of good stuff. I took all kinds of notes, the breakout sessions, everything. It's about 5 or 6 pages. And hopefully you can benefit from some of that. If you want to download that, click on the link and they're all yours. Have at them. But quick mic drop thought that I wanted to go. I love this quote. This is from Max Lucado. If you know, he's a Christian author and a wonderful, wonderful teacher and leader. And he said this: "You weren't an accident. You weren't mass produced. You aren't an assembly line product. You were deliberately planned, specifically gifted, and lovingly positioned on the earth by the master craftsman." Wow. So if you thought you were ordinary, if you thought you were plain vanilla, if you thought you were the regular variety and that you're just the kind of the in a sea of sameness, well, that's not true. God designed you to be amazing. And there's no, like everybody says, you're one in a million, or you're unique. There's nobody like you, like snowflakes, right? But you weren't an accident, right? You weren't mass produced. I love this thought about the assembly line. You're not off of an assembly line. You are absolutely 100% unique and special, and you've got to believe in yourself. And a lot of times we come in this business, we get beat up a little bit, and we stop believing in ourselves. And we stop thinking that we're capable, or we stop thinking that our goals and our dreams and things kind of become further out. We get washed up, or we start thinking, yeah, what do I have to offer? Where do I really think I can do this? Am I really worthy of my goal? Like, you may have had some of these thoughts, and I'm here to just remind you that you're something special. God made you, and God doesn't make anything that's not special. So I hope that helps somebody. But let's get into our training. You can see I've got my whiteboard, and I might be using some more of my whiteboard in the future. I don't know. I kind of like it. But this hangs out in my office with me. And today we're going to learn a little formula. We're doing some math. E plus R equals O. So before you start thinking I've taken you back to algebra and you're about to turn off the podcast, let me tell you, this is not your normal math equation. Okay, this I got out of the book. So kudos and compliments to Jack Canfield for this, but I'm sharing it because the best way to learn something is to teach it. So I'm kind of teaching myself, or learning in the process of teaching you. But I love this formula. And here's why: because this is all about ownership of your life, the good, the bad, and the ugly, of where you are right now and how to change that moving forward. Okay, let me unpack that. E plus R equals O. You can see this on the board. If you're not watching this on YouTube, you might want to click the link and switch over. I don't know, maybe you can just envision. I've got E plus R equals O. E is event. R is response, and O is outcome. So let me say that again. Event plus response is outcome, equals outcome. Now, what does that mean? So this is why it became so powerful for me. The outcome is the result. That's what every one of us wants. Maybe it's a monetary figure. Maybe it's 100,000, 200,000 this year. Maybe it's a certain lifestyle that you want to reach. Maybe it's a certain level of your health. Maybe you want to lose weight. Maybe you want to live in a really nice home. There's some kind of outcome that we all want. When we came in this business as life insurance agents and we went through that boring study course and got our licenses, we did it for a purpose of accomplishing ultimately something on this career path. Okay. That's the outcome, right? Great. It's a beautiful thing. It's right there. We're all chasing it. Awesome. So let's switch over to the left side of the equation, though. E plus R, event plus response. Now, event, those are the non-controllables for the most part. That's our environment. That's how we were raised. That's our circumstances. And a lot of that stuff we were handed. We didn't choose, unfortunately, right? But yet that's the stuff that we focus on the most sometimes when we get frustrated because we can't do anything about it. That's what causes the frustration. So the event plus the response. So let's say let's use an example of an event. Something happens to you. Maybe you have a terrible week. Maybe you got sick. Maybe you had something thrown your way, a curveball. Life has its way of serving up curveballs, right? And that's an event. You weren't planning on that happening, but it derailed your week and it kept you from your goals. You have your magic number, right? You're trying to do something, and then life gets in the way. Well, this is what makes up the difference. And this is the key to this whole formula, the response that we have to the event. The event plus the response equals the outcomes. The outcome's already set. The event is pretty much set, not 100%, but probably 95 or 99 of the percent of the time, the event is already there. So what's left? The only controllable left in the equation is your response to the event. And the event plus the response equals the outcome. So if you have a big outcome, get this, let's put some numbers in here. You want an outcome that's a 10, okay? And let's say you have an event that is a 2. Well, guess what? Your response, you're going to need to make up the difference with your response. So what happens? We have a little curveball, throws us off track. Maybe it's just a mental off track. Maybe it's just discouragement. Maybe it's fear. Maybe it's us not believing in ourselves. It's a lack of belief. Or maybe it's a physical thing. Maybe you got, like you said, you got sick or you wrecked your car. My car just gave up the ghost this last week. We have one car now, and yeah, we got to figure out how to. I'm not going to fix it. It's not worth it. But getting another car, that's not something I planned on fitting in my schedule this week. But we got to do it. So the only thing that I can control is my response. So I can take and go, I'm going to give an 8 or a 10 level response. Why? Because I got some making up to do, because the event was this and the outcome's clear up here. I want a big outcome, right? So the only difference that I've got to make up is in my response. Now, your response starts here in your mind. That's positive thinking. You've got to tell you got to stop getting down on yourself. You got to stop beating yourself up over things. Okay, remember I started with that quote that God made us special. God made us capable. God made us capable of performing miracles. I mean, we're his literal offspring, and he is the great creator of the universe. So don't you think we got some of those genes? I think we did, right? We just have to believe in ourselves and bring that out. I think it's in there in every single one of us. So you tap into that and you can muster up a response even when things aren't going well, starting mentally in your head that it's going to be okay. First of all, there is no challenge you haven't overcome in your life, right? You're still alive, so you haven't died yet. So you've still overcome 100% of your challenges, or you're in the process of overcoming them. Either way, that's a pretty good track record. right? So if you look at things from the right perspective, you can have a positive mindset about whatever curveball challenge life threw at you. Now, the second part of response isn't just mental, but it's physical. So now that you have an event and it's taking you back and you still have an outcome that you want to achieve, you have to make up the difference with the only variable left, and that is your response. First here, and then here with activity, action, decisions, right? Because that's all you got left. That's all you've got left. But the cool thing is, that's all you need as well. It's all you've got left, but that's all that's required. That's all that God asks of us is to first believe, have faith, and then faith without works, as we know, is dead. We have to exercise those works. We have to move forward. We have to take action. Okay, so you had a bad week. Respond and then respond, right? Mentally and then with action. And that's the only thing that you can do to make up the difference in this formula between an event that life threw at you and still staying on track to make up the difference to achieve that outcome. Don't you love that formula? Isn't that the coolest thing ever? So this is really it right here. This is the key. And that's why they say how you respond to everything is everything. All right, guys. I'm just gonna leave it right there. That's probably the secret. If there is a secret to success, that may be the closest thing that I can think of to a secret to success. How you see everything and how you respond to everything is everything, because the rest you can't even control anyways. So let's don't spend our time getting frustrated at stuff that got thrown at us. Let's focus instead on our response to it. Take ownership and action instead of blaming or, feeling bad or pity parties or all that. Own it, live up to it. Wherever you're at in your life, that's where you are because of this formula and probably a deficit right here. And that's easy to fix now that we know the answer. Put that into use. I hope you have an awesome day and all the success in the world. I hope you have the best week ever. And I look forward to connecting with all of you on the next podcast or the next team call. Take care.